TV, Episode 1, Television, by women, for women, about women. Charlene Sanjenko is very passionate about women. Why women?
Wow.
Let's get right to it.
I adore powerful women. And my whole life, I've been attracted to women whose confidence and their actions, their magnetism, just pulls me right in, which is interesting because I grew up in a family with 4 older brothers and an older sister. And so maybe it's just that piece of me that was looking to rebalance with what I grew up with.
And you were treated as an equal, as you should, alongside your brothers. You played football, you played sports, and they didn't handle you with kid gloves because you were the girl. It's true.
I also had 4 male cousins that lived just down the road just down the road from us, and it was a childhood of if you wanted to play with the boys, then you needed to keep up, and it wasn't a matter of if you could, you just did. So if you wanted to go hiking or go fishing or swimming or play football or floor hockey, you just joined in and you did the best you could. No one babied you, but you also you also were respected for what you brought to the table, and you weren't treated differently. And I didn't know any different, and as we've chatted about before, it didn't actually hit me that I would be treated any differently until I entered the corporate world.
And what happened when you entered the corporate world?
I was 24 years old, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, full of energy, and I joined a company who I felt within 10 years I would be the first female president of this company. That was my goal. And I had no reason to feel any different until I started to notice that women were treated a little differently in the company. And it didn't seem to matter how hard I worked, the amount of effort or energy or talent that I brought to the table. There was a certain safe, nice level that I was allowed to reach, and anything above or beyond that just probably wasn't going to be in the cards.
Is that when you looked around for strong female mentors and found them almost non-existent at that point?
I did what I had always done my whole life, was to look around for powerful women to talk to befriend, to learn from, as I had ever since being a younger girl. And in that corporate environment, there weren't a whole lot to ask, and there weren't a whole lot above where I was at that time. And so I really started to realize that, okay, something's not quite right here. At least it's not quite right for me.
Fast forward a couple of decades, Powerhouse. PowHER TV is one branch of Powerhouse. Why was Powerhouse created?
Powerhouse was born to build strong women, and it was born from years of training, networking, working with women one-on-one and in groups through events, and realizing the correlation that to really build women, to surround them and support them with what they feel they need to move forward in their lives, took that intricate balance of building them stronger on the inside and building them stronger with what's around them. And Powerhouse is a vehicle in order to be able to do that.
And there's the logic that building strong women individually, they have influence over the families. The families become stronger, the communities become stronger, and therefore the concept of changing the world isn't so overwhelming, and it becomes achievable.
Yeah, we very much believe that it's all about profiling positive role models, and one of my driving forces is to ask young women or any women, you know, who are your top 3 positive Canadian role models? And until that question can be answered just very quickly and easily from a woman's lips without them having to think too hard, then I know that my work has yet to be done.
The concept, one of the concepts behind PowHER TV, is that collectively we have all of the knowledge that we need. We don't need to have it dictated, if that's the right word, down to us. But by sharing and asking, collectively we have it. We are our own experts. And that's what we'll achieve here.
It's so true.
On PowHER TV. By the end of this very first season of PowHER TV, you will have no problem naming your top 3 Canadian women mentors. We'll be back with more in studio with Charlene Sanjenko. You are watching the first episode of the first season of PowHER TV. We have a powerful feeling that this is the start of something very, very big. Powerhouse is an online organization that launched powerhouse.com in 2013. In spring of 2015, Powerhouse magazine was launched, and there's a theme in all of that. It's media. We have online media, we have television media, a lot of print media goes out as well. Why is media so important, and the role that women can play in that?
I think we've seen in our lives the strength and the power that media has. And that power can be used very positively, and it can also be used in a very different way. Media has an amazing reach, and what Powerhouse is setting out to do as a social impact organization is to change the face of women's media in Canada. And that's not to say that what is out there is wrong, but it's to maybe look at it differently and look at what could be possible. What's the impact? What's the role and the impact that media could play if we consciously looked and measured our success by the impact we make, by the number of strong women that we help to move forward in their lives, by the communities that were built stronger? What if we weren't solely focused on display advertising for our revenue? What if we were more creative around our models? What if we brought women to the forefront who were the unsung heroes, the women that so deserved to be celebrated, but maybe weren't hitting the front of the top mainstream magazine? What if? And
do you think the timing is right? Media, you can look at media as being oversaturated, and there's so much of it out there, and how do you stand out among it all? On the flip side, maybe the time is right because so much of it is the same, and it's not perpetuating us.
It's very, very true, and it's such a great point. On one hand, I say the time is right. We have all of the tools we need to be able to do digital media now in this day and age, to be able to work with great community partners. It makes things possible that 10, 15 years ago weren't possible. But that also being said, it's very important to know who your tribe is, to know your brand, to know your niche. And where we play in Powerhouse is we sit in the sweet spot of women who want to make a difference in Canada. We are very comfortable speaking with athletes. We're very comfortable speaking with politicians. We love speaking with community leaders in business and in social organizations. We're all about profiling and positioning powerful women and what they're doing with and in their lives. And it's kind of a unique mix of women that are in our media channel.
Another layer to that is making, I don't know if that's the right word, these women accessible to other women. So making sure and enabling it to be a two-way street so that we can learn from and alongside the Canadian women that we see as mentors.
Definitely.
In our lives.
And that's all plays back into, we have everything we need to move forward. We are the experts. How we want to position our communications through media is that we are not waiting for an expert to come and tell us and save us and tell us what we should be doing to have our perfect life. We know the answers. It's all about sharing those answers with each other, lifting each other up. I can tell you about this because I happen to be stronger in this area, but boy, do I have a lot to learn from you in this area. And when we come together as equals in that frame of reference, magic happens.
Integrating leadership and lifestyle, a motto at Powerhouse, integrating mediums and how we consume, how we interact, how we share that medium. It's what PowHER TV is a part of. We're going to be back with more from Charlene Sanjenko right here in our Power TV studio. You will notice in the coming episodes of Power TV that there will be a very strong focus on Aboriginal women. Why? Why the Aboriginal woman?
For the past number of years, I have had a really deep craving to connect and be a part of and be around powerful Aboriginal women. And I, in fact, started to look for them, quite frankly. And it was about a year ago in the spring where I had just completed an event, a fundraiser, for a woman, a filmmaker by the name of Deanne Whalen, who is currently walking, hiking, cycling across Canada on the Trans-Canada Trail. And at the end of that fundraiser, Deanne gave me a paddle, a native art paddle that had been created by a Haida Aboriginal artist. And I pretty much started crying in front of a couple hundred women. And I knew that this craving, this yearning that was coming from deep inside of me was about so much more. And I also took that as a sign that it was time to find out where all of that was coming from.
We haven't yet shared that you were adopted. You had 4 older brothers, 1 older sister, and you had been adopted into that family. But that's all you knew.
It's true. I was adopted at birth, and I knew ever since the age of 4 that I was adopted, and I was totally fine with it. It's pretty obvious. My brothers were all over 6 feet. And what I didn't know, and actually I hadn't confirmed until just last year, was that I came into that home as a foster child, and I am half Aboriginal. As a woman,
you just found this out.
I just found this out about a year ago. So as a woman who's 46 years old, to find out what your heritage is and where you're from, it literally felt like a piece of my heart, a piece of my soul, a piece of a little girl. It's hard to explain.
Was found?
Was found and put back in. And all of a sudden, my whole life's work started to make a whole lot of sense.
It's a big affirmation that craving you had was coming from somewhere deep inside you. Do you know what you're going to do with this piece? I guess that's partly where the focus on Aboriginal women here on Power TV comes in.
It's true. I feel that the time is now. And there's a quote that I think that I care about a lot, which is the Dalai Lama's quote that the world will be saved by Western women. But to paraphrase it lightly, the world will be saved when Western women unite and really build ourselves stronger together. And that's women from every culture. My goal and my role is to celebrate all women, to celebrate powerful Aboriginal women and the positive role models that are in that culture alongside every other Canadian women, until those positive role models and their names just roll off our tongues.
What is it that you think that Aboriginal women can bring to the collective that is missing without them?
I think they can bring a lot of depth in their culture, a lot of wisdom. We think that we know so much, as women, modern women. And really, I think some of the most valuable lessons we can learn are to slow down and learn lessons that are deeply ingrained in culture, that are simple and teach us about wellness and family and pride and community, but maybe in a bit of a different way, and I have a lot to learn.
And we're going to be sharing that learning here on Power TV, and one of the women that we're welcoming and one of the women that we're celebrating among many Aboriginal women is Laura Grizzly Paws.
Yes, we're so excited to have Laura as one of our team on Power TV, and she will be sharing teachings and cultural learnings that we can integrate and learn from in our lives.
I feel like we have so much to cover. I want to embrace the opportunity here in our very first episode of Power TV. What are your hopes for this series? What is the impact that you're looking to make through PowHER TV?
I hope to redefine what women's media in Canada is all about. I hope to look back on this first show and go, wow, that was where it all started. And to be able to have measurable, tangible results of the lives of women that we've touched and how that ripple has rippled out throughout their communities in a very grassroots way all across Canada. And to be able to have powerful women from politics, from sport, from business and entrepreneurship, from community leadership, linked hand in hand across Canada and lifting each other up and on to doing great things.
Excellent. This is only the beginning of all of that through PowHER TV. We're going to be incorporating, and we're going to start right now with a regular PowHER Bite is how we're going to end our Inspire Me sections within the program. We're pulling out the golden turtle and leaving our time today on a thought.
Strong women practice self-care.
Lots of that in future episodes of PowHER TV.